athlete Vladimir Putin being misinformed by his advisors?
That's an open question. There's a lot of speculation. But he seems to be, I'm not saying this with a certainty, he seems to be self-isolating. And there's some indication that he has fired or put under house arrest some of his advisors. But I don't want to put too much stock in that at this time because we don't have that much hard evidence.
This is President Joe Biden speaking carefully a short time ago and trying to flesh out for reporters in the room some of this U.S. intelligence assessment about how informed Russian President Vladimir Putin is about how things are actually going in Ukraine. The assessment suggests that he's been misled by some of his advisors about Russia's failures on the battlefield. The Kremlin today pushing back, refuting those reports. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov says that neither the U.S. Pentagon or the U.S. State Department have real information about what is happening and that they don't understand President Putin. All of this comes as Russia's promises to scale back attacks in Ukraine appear to be broken or completely disingenuous from the start. Forces continue to pound the outskirts of Kyiv and the city of Chernihiv. NBC News has counted attacks in nearly 20 Ukrainian cities and towns just in the past 7 days. Today, NATO Secretary General Hans Stoltenberg expressed doubt, agreeing with U.S. intelligence that Russia does not have any intention of withdrawing from Ukraine and just appears to be doing what John Kirby and others have suggested, repositioning their forces for potentially more brutal attacks. Let's bring into our coverage NBC News correspondent Ali Arouzi, live for us in Lviv, Ukraine. And with us here on set, we're very happy to welcome Julia Ioffe, founding partner and Washington correspondent for Puck News. Julia, let me start with you. And we've talked about this. I think I've used this expression. We tend to sort of flatten news about both countries, about Ukraine and Russia. But tell me what is everyone getting at with Putin? It sounds like when we say he's been misinformed, it suggests he's watching Tucker Carlson. But it sounds like there's just, as there was with Trump in some ways, a difficult time sort of presenting difficult truths about what is going well and what isn't in Ukraine. Is that a fair read of what this assessment is?
I think it is. And as Secretary of State Tony Blinken said, I think very correctly, this is what happens in dictatorships, right? Especially ones based on fear and fear of imprisonment or death.
Yeah.
People are scared to bring bad news because they're worried that the messenger will be shot. And I think that was the case here. It seems like that was also the case in the lead up to the war because he seems to have miscalculated so badly and so fundamentally. He was getting clearly such bad information or making such wrong assumptions about Ukraine and how Russian forces would be perceived when they went into Ukraine. So it seems like this is not a new phenomenon. This is something I was hearing in Moscow even back in 2018, that he was isolated and the information getting to him was less and less good. Actually, I heard about this happening in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
But then the 2 years of COVID didn't help. And I think his circle of advisors has really shrunk. And now that, there's reported tension between him and even the people in that teeny tiny circle around him, I wonder where he's getting any of his information.
Do you worry that we're getting to the point where this is becoming almost clinical, right? We're talking about intel assessments. We're talking about troop redeployment. Every single day, someone is freezing to death, starving to death, or dying from a brutal bombardment of Russian troops, whether they're repositioning, withdrawing, tamping down, tamping up. The truth is Ukraine is a living hell for civilians and children.
Yeah, I think it speaks a lot to our helplessness and a desire to see this war end. And so I see a lot of people in the West, especially, really kind of trying to look for glimmers of hope in these negotiations that just ended in Istanbul earlier this week, and any kind of Russian promises, even though this government has never kept its word. And has used tactics like this, for example, in Syria, when they were helping Bashar al-Assad claw back every inch of territory. They were also technically participating in and then hosting talks, and it just gave them cover to do some of this damage. But I think people really want to believe that this war is about to end or could end soon, even though people in Moscow are telling me, I wouldn't have much hope for these negotiations. There are many in Moscow, I think, who are rooting for the negotiations to fail because they want Putin to see this through. You know, that original crazy plan, they want him to finish it. And people I'm talking to in Washington are saying, you know, prepare for months or even years of this.